都好後嘅。
The next train will be a Central Line service to Haynorth. Please stand behind the yellow line as the train approaches. Use the full length of the platform.
Emotional damage.
Of security and safety management.
Customers playing folded and unfolded e-scooters and e-unicycles.
有咁嘅事咩？
The next station is Street. Doors will open. Left-hand side. Change Northern Line. Exit for University College Hospital. This is Green.
The next train will be a Victoria Line service calling at all stations to Walthamstow Central. Please stand behind the yellow line as the train approaches. Use the full length of the platform and let passengers off the train first. Would customers please use the full length of the
Mind the gap.
It is suspended between Queen's Park and Galloway Hill Street.
Please take care.
is a Northern Line train terminating at Haiban.
For information.
你搞到我好亂啦！
Customer service update from the control room at Fan Monument. There are minor delays on the Central Line due to the lack of available trains. There are severe delays on the District Line between Tower Hill and Upminster due to trespassers on the track. Good service on the rest of the line. The Piccadilly Line is partially suspended between
For your safety and security, CCTV is in use throughout London Underground. Keep your belongings with you at all times, and if you see something that doesn't look right, speak to staff or text the British Transport Police on 61016.
Jubilee line.